Commencing virtuous mission now.
Now, Konami had kind of an interesting lineup this year. I actually I wandered around there for quite a while, just checking out all the stuff they had. There was a lot of Metal Gear there. The first thing I saw was Metal Gear Snake Eater 3DS. They're bringing Snake Eater, which is one of my favorite games of all time. I played that game several times to the 3DS. I loved it. I loved the story, and I'll even be the first to admit that Snake Eater had major issues that I didn't like at all. I actually thought the interface was rather clunky, especially the interface in relation to the camouflage, but mainly the eating aspect of it, where you had to go hunt down and kill animals and then go and keep in, there's the food spoils and things like that, and the healing mechanic where you had to kind of do surgery on yourself, and sometimes you would have to treat gunshot wounds and crossbow bolt wounds in the middle of combat, so you'd have to pause, go to the screen, treat your wounds, and then do that. And I thought it was really intrusive. But I still love the story. I think it's one of the best told stories in gaming. But the fact that they're bringing it to the 3DS is actually very interesting because it honestly, I think the 3DS will fix pretty much every one of the complaints I ever had about the interface, because the second screen, I think, will solve all of them. You can do weapon swapping on the fly. You can switch equipment on the second screen. You can probably even treat injuries without even pausing the action on the second screen if you do it really quickly. I could see little mini games, almost like a Trauma Center, being integrated into that game, and it being really cool. So yeah, if you've never, I probably won't get it, but if you've ever been, if you've never played Snake Eater, this is a great opportunity when it finally comes out to get exposed to Metal Gear Solid 3. It's a really good one. Another one they're bringing up is Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which is originally on the PSP, but they're making an HD version of it, I believe, for the PS3. This one also looked really good. Peace Walker is one of those games I own, and for some insane reason have not played. But it's not because I don't want to play it, it's because I've been so busy making videos. But I'm actually really interested to see what goes on with that. What else was there? No! Oh my god, no, that's wrong! No! Why do they do that? No! Oh, no! Take Glee away. No Glee. The other game they had was Silent Hill Downpour. Again, this is I played this game for a little bit, but it's this is one I'm not sure I got a very good read on it. It's tough. Silent Hill is another game I don't think demos well. It's not that the demo wasn't impressive, it's just that it's really hard to immerse yourself in the atmosphere of dread and terror when there's about 2,000 people around you and there's 5 people waiting in line to play the game, wanting to get you done as quickly as possible. So it's kind of hard to, a game that banks almost 100% on dread and atmosphere and being in a dark room by yourself and experiencing the story, it's almost impossible. But as with any Silent Hill game, I think it hinges heavily on a couple things. The difficulty and the story. If the story is done well, then it'll be a fine Silent Hill game. The difficulty, as long as it's not too easy, then it should be fine. In fact, Homecoming, I thought, was one of those games that was actually way too easy, and it's hard to be scared when you're basically single-handedly wading through everything without a problem. You have plenty of ammo. It's kind of that thing where you're really not supposed to be able to take most of the monsters. And I even kind of liked Homecoming, but even I'll admit it wasn't really all that scary. In fact, it kind of ripped off Jacob's Ladder quite a bit. But Downpour, it was fine. I honestly, but I don't know how difficult it'll be when it's finally done. That's something I'll only know when I finally check it out when it's finished. And as for how scary it is, again, it's the kind of thing I can only check out when it's done. But I can say this. I do really like the idea of the rain motif. In fact, I like it so much, I have no idea why they haven't done it before. Because rain is such a natural element of horror movies and horror games. Maybe it's a rendering thing. They couldn't ever resolve the technology. But again, Silent Hill is one of those games I might take flack for saying, well, Silent Hill's never changed, but they actually do their best to make it change. In fact, I think many of the Silent Hill games are very distinct from one another, if nothing else, for the fact that many of them actually are trying to, especially the most recent ones, are changing motifs very radically. For instance, Shattered Memories, the one on the Wii, has a very heavy snow motif, very heavy ice and snow, where everything's not draped in fog necessarily, although it is, but there's a lot of ice and snow everywhere. And that one was on the Wii with motion controls. Whether or not you like that is debatable, but it was distinct. Usually it's fog a lot of times, but in this one, the fact that you are essentially drenching Silent Hill in a constant downpour, I think could work wonders for the dread and tension in the atmosphere. The constant, you could work wonders with sound design, the constant patter, the constant roar of the rain outside, sudden thunderclaps, lightning, and stuff like that. You could see so much working with Silent Hill Downpour. And again, I'm sorry I couldn't tell you more about this game, about how effective it is from a horror standpoint. But again, that's the sort of thing I'll only know when it's done. So again, I can only give you my impressions on how much I like the approach they're taking to it. But beyond that, I can't really say more than that.